The Civil War was a time of turmoil in the United States. The North and South were fighting heavily over the decaying Union. While soldiers fought to maintain unity between the halves, or for freedom, a few select members of the society clung to the shadows, maneuvering the odds to lean in their favor. These spies played a major role in the war effort. In the realm of espionage, the Union was more adept than the Confederacy. Sarah Emma Edmonds, Price Lewis, Elizabeth Van Lew, and Timothy Webster of the North were more effective spies than the Southern Emmeline Piggott, Antonia Ford, Belle Edmonds, and Belle Boyd. Sarah Emma Edmonds entered the scene under the alias Franklin Thompson. This man reported to General McClellan. She performed numerous espionage adventures, one of which included posing as a slave named Cuff and eavesdropping to determine the local Confederate troop size, the number of weapons, and the location of dummy cannons. She also starred as an Irish peddler named Bridget O'Shea and an African-American laundrywoman. These roles gained her information and a horse in important papers, respectively. Not only were these endeavors successful, she survived to write a memoir entitled Unsexed, or The Female Soldier. Her successful mission set the average of all Union spies.
Price Lewis was a 29-year-old Union spy. He became an Englishman traveling peacefully with a few bottles of champagne and a box of cigars. He went to Southern hotels and headquarters to get information from people. Lewis was then caught and was going to be hung, but another spy who was caught with him, Scully, made a confession which saved their lives.
Elizabeth Van Lew was from Richmond, Virginia, but she helped the Union due to her strong opposition of slavery and secession. She did a number of things that made her a spy. She would send information of Confederate troop strengths and movements to General Grant. Elizabeth provided food and medicine to Union prisoners held in Libby Prison, which was known for its harsh conditions. Elizabeth also helped in planning their escape. She successfully helped 2 Union soldiers escape Libby Prison. Elizabeth successfully ran her own network of spies as well. Elizabeth was a part of Union General Benjamin Butler's spy network. In the end, Elizabeth was never captured, but was appointed postmaster of Richmond when Grant became president.
Timothy Webster was one of the most active Union spies during the Civil War, according to Ellen Pinkerton. Webster and Hattie Lawton pretended to be husband and wife while becoming friendly with Confederate officials in Baltimore and Richmond. Many of these officials gave Timothy Webster important incriminating documents and were shocked when they found out that he had betrayed them. Webster once even uncovered a plan to assassinate President Lincoln, which he was able to thwart.
Emmeline Piggott's daily life was composed of distracting Northern soldiers stationed on the family's farm, while her brother snuck away to smuggle food to Southern soldiers hiding nearby. She also carried supplies like medicine, mail, and food to safe locations where Southern troops could pick them up. She hid these supplies under her hoop skirt. These events came to a screeching halt when she was arrested. Her activities had been suspected, and in order to catch her in the act, Piggott was given false information to pass on. She was so desperate she ate the evidence but was arrested anyways, like many other Southern spies. She lingered in the prison system, never being tried. If she had been tried, however, she would have been killed as a spy.
Antonia Ford was a 23-year-old Confederate spy. Her house was used as a boarding house for Union officers, and she would listen to their conversations and report them to Confederate Colonel John S. Mosby. Antonia Ford was then captured and sent to Old Capitol Prison in D.C., but she was set free after a few months because she found love with her captor, Joseph Willard.
Belle Edmondson lived on a farm in a town which was located in between the Union and Confederate lines in Tennessee. She would smuggle supplies and funds to the Confederate Army during the night so she wouldn't be caught by Union officers. During her time as a spy, she would record her duties in a diary. She started to serve as a spy for the Confederates after the fall of Memphis. In 1864, Belle fled south to Waverly Plantation in Clay County, Mississippi, when the United States issued a warrant for her arrest.
Maria Belle Boyd was one of the most infamous spies of the Civil War. She was a courier, so she gathered information and supplies to the Confederate Army. Her most famous act was writing to Thomas Stonewall Jackson and telling him that the Union Army was marching towards him. Although she did help the Confederates, she was also horrible at her job. Boyd was arrested 6 or 7 times before she escaped to England, where she was again arrested for being a Confederate courier.
The
The multiple examples pulled from both sides of the Civil War give a sample of the adeptness of each side's spies. The Northern Edmunds, Lewis, Van Leeuwen, and Webster performed numerous fruitful missions and lived to tell the tale. The Southern Pickett, Ford, Edmunds, and Boyd were suspected and sent to prison in many cases. Their track records speak for the two sides, sending the Northern spies upwards into fame and the Southern spies down to dissolve into infamy.